Welcome to Very Rich Stories, where you will see stories of betrayal and secrets and twists in real life. And now, money for money. He thought I was stupid. That's what he called me. But all I did was save to upgrade properly in dollars. Stupid? He spelled it. I lived it. Money for money. I got married impossibly young. I was just 20 years old. Charles was 10 years older than me. But he was energetic and fun-loving. Well, until he wasn't. My husband has always had a knack for making money. I'm not sure how he has done it all these years, but I do believe it's all legal. Well, I hope it is. From the day we met 23 years ago, he has always been very free-spending and always very generous with me. I married him for love, not for money, but he would shower me with both attention and with money and gifts. Well, until we got married. As soon as we married, he put me in the housekeeper, wife, cook, maid mode. First, I was a bit surprised by this, but then I became okay with that. He gave me money and access to all of our joint accounts. I lacked for nothing. But in less than a year, Charles became obsessed with making money, and I started to see him less and less. He'd leave early in the morning and return home as late as 8 and 9 o'clock at night, and sometimes later. But we had plenty of money in our bank account. Well, until we didn't. I started to notice that the more time he spent away from home, the more our account balances would dip. I found that odd because if he is working, then shouldn't we have more money instead of less money? I'm not stupid, this was not jibing. So I decided to look into it. First, it was small money that was deducted out of the account and higher charges on our main credit card. Truthfully, I'm no Martha Stewart, but I easily got that housekeeping cooking thing down. I'd be through with my housework every day in 3 hours, and dinner was on the stove by noon, or dinner prep was ready to be put on the stove or in the Instapot for 6 p.m. dinner. Dinner was at 6 p.m. every night. Until it wasn't. After the second year of marriage, I had dinner at 6 p.m. every night. I don't know where Charles was most of the time. This was emotionally painful, but as a dutiful wife, I accused him of nothing. Instead, I busied myself. He was busy, then I could be busy too. I am an only child, I know how to be alone. I am a self-starter, I get things done. It didn't take me more than one caller with lipstick and no more than 2 or 3 late arrivals at night to figure out where my husband was when he was late coming home from work. What do you think I did? What would you do? I decided to take a free online course to busy myself, but also to learn about investing. Why? I didn't really have money to invest, and I hadn't studied investing before, but this is what I did. This is what I was interested in, and the course was free, so why not? Course was exhilarating. There was a part 2 to this course, and it also was free, so I took that course too. Subsequent courses did carry a fee, but over the months and years, I took every course on finance that I could. One day, I decided to balance our bank account. It is part of running the household, after all. I noticed $500 withdrawn, and this was highly unusual. Money for money, I decided to also withdraw $500. There, now the account looked good. It was lopsided when Charles had taken out $500, and now I've balanced it. I went to another bank where we do not bank, and I opened a savings account and decided that day that whenever money was mysteriously missing from our joint account, I would even things up and balance things out by withdrawing the same amount. The next day, the credit card statement came. I decided to look that over too. Oh, look at these charges. A hotel. A local hotel. I didn't have to use my imagination and really didn't want to use my imagination because you can't unsee some things, even things in your mind. I called the hotel and requested they email me a copy of the receipt as I had lost mine, and they obliged right away. Room service for 2, champagne, strawberries, $480. I transferred the full amount of the credit card bill to the credit card company with an additional $480. Our credit card bill was more than $12,000 that month, so what's an extra $480? I don't know if you know this, but if you run a credit balance on your credit card for a while, eventually they will just send you a check for the amount of that credit. So, whatever amount Charles withdrew, charged, or spent, I'd overpay the credit card bill by that amount. One day I said to him, "Oh, honey, I notice our credit card is getting higher, so I'm going to pay it twice a month instead of only once a month just so we can keep up with it and not have any interest charges. I hope that's okay with you?" He looked at me a little guilty, but he had a smirk on his face as if I was clueless and he was getting away with something because the evidence of his extramarital spending would be wiped out twice a month, not just once a month, so he thought. Whatever he spent outside the marriage, I found creative ways to get that same amount for myself. Either the credit card company wrote a check in my name, or I got cash out of our checking account and walked it over to my own bank and deposited it. No paper trail there. They say love is blind. But money sees everything. I've been married to Charles for 22 years. He's charming, successful, and for the better part of those years, unfaithful. Women came and went. Some younger, some older, some bold enough to look me in the eye at dinner parties, pretending I didn't know or pretending that they didn't know that he was married. I never made a scene. Never threw a wine glass. Never went through his phone. Because I didn't need to. See, Charles made one mistake. He underestimated me. He always thought I was just his wife. Not his equal. Not his opponent. And definitely not his accountant. But what Charles didn't know was that I noticed every dollar that left our marriage. I saw the gifts that sprouted legs and walked away from our marriage. I saw the secret getaways, the hotel stays he thought I didn't know about, the jewelry that didn't land in my drawer. First it hurt, then it annoyed me, then it interested me. I started matching him. Every dollar he spent on someone else, I took that same amount out of our joint accounts and I invested it. Quietly. Systematically. Soon I had $5,000 in my own account. I had taken several online courses, so now I knew how to invest wisely. Through my bank, I was able to open a brokerage account so I could trade on the stock market if I wanted to. I bought stocks the first 2 years. 5,000 turned to 10 and then 20 and then 50 and 100. There were some losses, but mostly I had the knack to spot good opportunities and safe investments. When I had enough money in my portfolio, I bought rental properties. Cash. I bought silence. Mine. My real estate purchases were for rental properties that paid real money every month. I started with a single-family home. Next, I elevated to a duplex and then another. I had positive cash flow from my rentals as well as Charles was cheating his head off and I was taking my share out of the marital funds. He had distracted himself so much that he did not notice what I was doing. After a couple of duplexes, I then could leverage a small apartment building, 8 units. These were smaller commercial properties where I could collect sizable rent and still investing in stocks, bonds, options, and puts. I knew how to do it all. Some properties I acquired by tax liens. Those were practically gifts. Over 18 years, I turned his betrayal into compound interest. Money for money? He took money out, I matched what he took. He burned through money, I saved and invested mine. He was cheating on the marriage and the bank account, I was only trying to balance things out. But I was not cheating on the marriage, I used my brain for better things than that. Cheating in a marriage? That's not hard to do. Any fool can do that, and you could probably find 5 or 20 people who would cheat with you. Charles certainly found plenty to cheat with. By year 5, I had a small portfolio. By year 10, I had 6 figures. All these years, Charles was basically paying no attention to me, and I had begun to like it that way. I had married Charles young, so by year 15 of our marriage, or whatever you call this, I was 35 years old and could walk out that door and never look back. By year 18, I was very comfortable in my own right. As far as taxes went, Charles had changed to married, filing separately years ago so he could hide funds and accounts from me that he didn't think I knew anything about. Really? Well, that worked perfectly for me as well. But it was time to set up a shell corporation to hold these investments so that Charles would never know because I was going to make a move at the appointed time. But for now, I waited. 'Cause it was never about the money. It wasn't about me needing or chasing a husband. I had things to do and I was doing those things. It was about the message. I hired a lawyer and watched him closely starting in year 17. Course, that was nothing new. Every time I noticed a new shade of lipstick or a different fragrance, I hired a detective over the years to find out where, who, when, for how long, and then I watched the bank accounts for how much. He was spending more and getting more careless and reckless, so that meant I was getting better paydays for myself. As long as the account balanced and the credit card was never declined, it was as though he didn't care what was in the account or was too distracted to pay attention. I don't know if I was happier or angrier when the fragrances changed from drugstore brands to Bed Bath & Beyond and then graduated to high-end luxury fragrances. I don't know if he was cheating with a better class of side chick or if he was just graduating to gifting them better perfumes. But I certainly got a raise. He went from $50 a bottle to $500 a bottle. I don't care what they smelled like. I liked my brokerage account, bank account, and financial portfolio. No kids. We had no kids because Charles was spilling his seed in the streets. He had excuse after excuse. He's too tired, his back hurts, he has an early meeting in the morning. I let him because I didn't want to participate in wherever he had been anyway. He thought he was clever. And he thought I was stupid. Or his maid or something. By the time I was 30, I realized that Charles was not going to father my children. He took a week away to London for a business trip. That's the week that I had enough money and the wherewithal to harvest my eggs. So my ability to have my own children later on, either when Charles became a proper husband, which I doubted would ever happen, or when I got a decent husband, my having kids would not be in peril. My friend Barbara came over and spent the week with me. She was very curious as to why I was freezing my eggs, so I confided in her. She said, "Girl, why don't you leave that man?" Well, Barbara, I'm giving him a little more time to grow up is what I told her, but I really was growing something else. What if he doesn't grow up? Barbara wanted to know. Well, I will be okay. LaDonna, you don't even work. Ojido. I have been taking college courses and I have been learning how to invest and make money. What are you investing in? What are you investing with? I have some means and I've learned how to grow what I have, so I'm okay. Well, all right. Don't just sit here and let him run all over you and take your good years. Anniversary gift. And last year, on our 22nd anniversary, I gave him a gift. A manila envelope. Charles, do you realize how much money you have wasted over the past 22 years of our marriage? What do you mean, LaDonna, you handle the household accounts? Right, but you pull money out every week and you have always made large charges on our credit card. Right, for business trips and expenditures, LaDonna. Oh, I thought those were personal expenditures. My bad, Charles. He looks at her performatively as if he has proved his point. Dinner table set for two. Candlelit. Romantic. She slides an envelope across the table. His hands open it, slow motion. His smile fades. She calmly takes a bite of her food. Charles, I'm 40 years old and not getting younger, so I think it's time we call this charade quits so you can have the freedom you desire and I can have the freedom I deserve. LaDonna, have you lost your mind? Who are you right now? He looked at me like I was a stranger. But I've never been more myself. Charles opens the manila envelope. Inside, divorce papers, and a detailed spreadsheet. Every affair, every transaction, every dollar he thought he was hiding. I let him know that I knew and that I knew all along. Was this planned? He demanded to know. He asked if I'd planned it from the beginning. I told him no more than he had planned his side chicks, tricks, and dates. No more than he had planned, not only to drain our marital wealth, health, and love. No more than he had planned to do all that and then hide it from me. But I finished it like I had. So now I live in a home I bought with his mistakes. I sleep easy not because I won, but because I never played his game. I made my own. Money for money. You know, they say love is blind. But money sees everything. It seemed that I was the perfect wife. Well, if you were the imperfect husband looking for a wife to control and deceive, cheat on, and get away with it. I noticed every dollar that left our marriage. He wanted to make it about the honey. I was not going to fight with him over women, so I made it about the money. I started matching him. Every dollar he spent, I invested. I kept score. Money for money. That's how I kept score. But freedom, that was the real return on investment. Money for money. I never made a scene because I didn't need to. There were times I wanted to, but I didn't. Money don't lie. I saw the bank statements. Match $842.20 real estate savings. By year 5, I had a small portfolio. He must have thought he was clever or that I was stupid. Stupid? I was saving. I was investing. To upgrade his position. Permanent. Inevitable. Done. He thought I was stupid until the divorce hit different. He thought I didn't know. Thought I was dumb. Nah. I was saving. Saving to upgrade his seat to the past. Clever? Charles? Oh, please. He was spending for pleasure. I was saving for power. I didn't downgrade him. I just exited the trial version. I was saving to upgrade my position. To peace and power. Permanent. Irrevocable. Done. Saving to upgrade properly in dollars. He must have thought I was stupid. And he said it without saying it. With every lie, every receipt, every late night. But stupid? Nah. I was just saving to upgrade properly. In dollars. Stupide. That's what I let him think. While I cashed out his mistakes. And now? I spend in silence. All those years I smiled. I nodded. I stayed quiet. While he lied. I leveraged. And while he played games, I built my exit. Me? I upgraded. In dollars. And in every way that matters. For me, money for money. For him, the money for honey. And I matched him. Dollar for dollar. Until I was free. He spent years chasing women, chasing honey, and honey don't last. She spent years watching, tracking, investing. Charles thought he was clever. His wife? Quiet. Observant. Patient. Smart. Every dollar he spent on someone else, she matched. Not in anger, in strategy. Real estate. Stocks. Leverage. Until the day she handed him a manila envelope with a spreadsheet he'll never forget. This is the story of silence, power, and revenge, told dollar for dollar. She was banking on his cheating. She turned his affairs into investments. He thought she was stupid. Until the divorce hit different. He spent years cheating. She spent years watching, tracking, and saving. Charles thought his wife was clueless. But every dollar he spent outside the marriage, she matched it, moved it, and multiplied it. And then, on their anniversary, she handed him one envelope with divorce papers and a spreadsheet. While he spent money on lies and lipstick, thinking I was clueless, foolish, or dumb. Who's stupid now? My glow up? Fully funded. Thank you for watching this dynamic story, Money for Money on Very Rich Stories. Give us a like, share, comment, and subscribe to catch the next story. It's going to be amazing.